Hey everyone, say hi to my favorite actor, Mark Ruffalo, who's in New York visiting with us. And he's got an incredible green story as well as his Hulk and movie background. Hey Mark, say hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone. Hi, David. How are you?
How did you first get into the environmental movement? And you've been such an activist.
Well, it came probably started when I was a boy. I lived in a little town called Kenosha, Wisconsin, and it was the 70s. And they proposed to build a coal-fired power plant, and it was about maybe 6 miles from my home. And there was a lot of talk about the soot that would fall on the surrounding areas. But, it was just soot and really shouldn't be worried about too much. Um, I lived on the edge of a forest, and I spent probably most of my childhood in that forest at some point or another. I'd wake up in the morning and go into it, rain, shine, snow, whatever, and not really come home until I had to, which was when it was getting dark.
So
And
a real connection with nature.
yeah, a really deep connection with nature. And at the time, me and my friends formed a little group called the Foresters, and our dream was to go live in Montana one day and be forest rangers as a group and protect the forests. And that's sort of, but at the same time, so this power plant was there, and I started to notice this soot buildup on the leaves, and it really it degraded the vibrancy of the life there. I could see it actually happening, and I I think that's probably where my environmentalism started. Also, at that time, my grandmother lived on Lake Michigan, which is borders Wisconsin, and um, at that time there was a lot of pollution in Lake Michigan. It was highly polluted, and I used to see these fish with growths on them and sores on their bodies and couldn't swim right and really creepy, weird things that were unnatural. And then I found out that came from the pollution in the lake. And then there was these bird die. I was just around a lot of these issues in the 70s, and there was a lot of people talking about these issues back then. And there was a big movement to, there's the Earth Day movement. People are starting to wake up to these issues. There was the Clean Water Act. And even Nixon was, probably made the strongest environmental regulations and laws this nation had ever seen. And so I was a child of all that. And I saw it going on around me. I saw it in action. And that became kind of uh, a vocabulary that I understood very early on, and that you could affect change, and that you could be a steward of your environment, and you could care about it, and there were things that could be done, and we did a lot. We cleaned up a lot back then. I remember Lake Michigan got clean. I never saw those deformed, cancer-ridden fish swimming around in my hometown lake ever again. And since then, the standards on coal-fired power plants have been regulated, and so we've seen a lot of change. When I was there, that's basically when the hydro fracking threat came, and I'd gotten to a place where I'd made my bones. I had a career. I wasn't struggling anymore, and so I could turn towards being more, having a social conscience and putting my time into things that weren't going to bring me necessarily money or fame or anything like that, but just things that were just the right thing to do. And then I had 3 kids, and it wasn't just me or just me and my wife anymore. It was the next generation, and conceivably the following generation. Hopefully, I'll be around to see it. And man, I don't like the future that's being promised to us today by continued fossil fuel usage and just our mass consumption. I don't like the future that the science is telling us is coming, and so I want to change that. For the whole United States, the Solutions Project, we made history about 2 weeks ago and dropped the basic plans for 50 states to take each state to 100% renewable by 2050, based on the technology that's available today, creating millions of jobs throughout the United States, saving 250,000 lives a year, by reducing the deaths from fossil fuel pollution, and saving the country billions, probably trillions of dollars worth of healthcare costs to mitigate all of this pollution. And it's good for business. We found out. We see Walmart isn't putting solar on all their stores because they're a bunch of tree huggers. Walmart's putting solar on their stores because it stabilizes their long-term costs for energy, and that's good business. I'm looking towards a renewable energy revolution. We need a second industrial revolution to clean up the mess of the first. What about the money that we pay every single year to pay for energy that isn't sustainable? We can only use it one time. It's completely disposable. Our entire energy paradigm is based on disposability. We use it once. When we move to a renewable source where we're actually harvesting, we're taking the middleman out. We're actually going directly to the source. All of our fossil fuels is nothing more than concentrated sunlight, you know? And so what we're doing is we're actually going directly to the source now. And the source is, I mean, we have another 5 billion years worth of sunlight. That's going to get us to the moon or Mars or wherever we want to go after that if we make it. But all of that money that we're disposing, we're literally throwing into heating our homes and powering our cars. All of that comes back into our economy, comes back into our pockets. And so in New York, this is a wonderful thing that's happening in New York. Now, New York hasn't fracked, okay? We are, and no one will talk about this in the media, but the fact that we stopped fracking in New York is probably the biggest environmental win that any group has seen in this country in probably 30 or 40 years. We did it outside of the big green organizations.
I don't think anyone knows that.
People don't know this, but all the funders who fund all the big green organizations are all coming to me, coming to us, coming to all of us who did this here, very much outside the big green organizations, by the way, and saying, how did you do it? We did it by not playing the same old tune, you know? And we did it through a grassroots movement and through education. We'll have too much energy. We won't know what to do. We'll be able to start creating nitrogen and fuel cells because we'll have so much energy we won't know what to be able to do with it.
God willing on that front, you know. Well, my God, you're such a passionate advocate for this, but I want to go even deeper.
Okay.
I mean, I was already sold before the call, but you're rekindling my spirit. But going even deeper, you talked about being a kid in nature and Lake Michigan. What's driving you? I mean, you're a cheerleader. I have a new nickname for you, actually, the Green Hulk.
I'm honored.
What's driving Green Hulk?
Love.
You're so passionate.
It's love. It's love, man. It's love. It's love of my fellows. It's love of my country. It's love of this world. It's love of nature. It's love of myself. It's love, and I see this as a manifestation of a sort of the pinnacle of human design, human thought, human triumph, and human balance with the environment that we're living in. And I don't like conflict, believe it or not. I really don't. But everywhere I look, I see we live in conflict with the natural world, you know? And I think we don't have to do that. And I don't think that, it's not that big of a shift to get away from that.
Well, conflict starts really with self-conflict, and that emanates outward.
Yes, it does. That's a very deep concept. And I'm at the age where I have an amazing life, and I have an amazing family, and I've had so many blessings given to me, and I want to give. I believe that part of showing my gratitude for that is giving back to the world in the way that the world's given to me, and I see this as that important. I have a lot of hope. I really do. I really think that I see it happening everywhere. It's not just me, or like a lot of people are having this epiphany all over the place, and I see it popping up everywhere. And so I just have a lot of hope. I don't know what else to do. I can't live anymore in despair. I don't want to live like that. I have my days of despair, but ultimately I'm hopeful.
You're giving me goosebump chills, because what you just said, you don't know what else to do, is my epiphany. Because we've been blessed, and you learn to make a living, you can have the family and do well. Yeah, you can work, work, work. Then what?
Yes.
And you get to the why. Why are we here? What are you supposed to do with your abundance and your time and your brilliance, which I think you are?
Oh, thank you. You too, man. Thank you very much.